Samsung has just done the unthinkable. They've changed aspect ratio, phone body design, and other things to create something totally new. It's super rare that we see this from like a larger corporation like Samsung, so I'm really happy that they're still trying to push the bar here and be innovative, which is something that is lacking in a lot of companies. So I want to show it to you today. I thought, well, you know, the original Passport phone. No, the Galaxy Fold8. I'm really glad that Samsung is, like I said, trying to push the envelope here a little bit and make something that's brand new, new aspect ratio, new size, all that stuff, taking a risk, right? They did that with the first Galaxy Fold back in the day, and they're doing it again with this one. But it's a little less impressive when you realize that the iPhone Fold also has the same ratio, and they just got the specs for it, and then they made one to copy it, same as the Air. So we'll see what the iPhone Fold looks like. That's not the point of this video. What I do want to talk about is the specs of the Galaxy Fold 8 and how a traditional Pixel user responds to having to use Samsung for a week. So there are lots of positives and negatives to this device. I love the size, which actually did get slightly annoying, but I'm going to mention that later on. But I love the Passport size, and it's so much lighter than my other favorite Passport phone, the Pixel Fold. I'm going to reference this a lot, I think, actually. I was super excited at first because I miss that size. I love this size. I can't emphasize that enough. It's a great size phone. It kind of feels like a BlackBerry a little bit, if any of you are old enough to remember BlackBerry from back in the day. But the full edge-to-edge display on both the inside and outside is super, super productive. It's very efficient. It's very light, actually. So it goes in and out of my pocket really easily. I didn't have any trouble taking it on runs, using it at work, you know, popping it open to show customers things at T-Mobile. You know, whatever the case is, it worked really well as that size for what I was doing. And most apps resized pretty well. The one exception being Facebook. You had to use Facebook like long ways. Facebook, for whatever reason, you would open it, right? And then Facebook would be like this way. So you'd have to like turn your phone, and I could not get it to rotate. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, and maybe it's a Samsung thing that I'm not familiar with or whatever. But that was the app with the biggest problem, which is one of the biggest apps in the App Store. So thanks so much again, Facebook, for your great development options. Anyway, this phone comes in a couple really cool colors. It comes in pistachio, lavender, cream, and graphite. So black, white, lavender, and like a sage kind of green. I got the 256 gigabyte model, but you can go up to a terabyte in a couple steps. You can get one at any carrier. Trade-in offers, definitely get your trade-in offers on this. The price is very high. We'll talk about that in just a second. You can go to their respective websites and get Care on it. So Apple Care, Samsung Care Plus, or Pixel Care Plus, whichever one. And then you have direct manufacturer access to insurance, which I think is really cool. So this is included in that, obviously. So Samsung has been bitten by the bug of this Apple phrasing thing, which really annoys me in almost every single one of these announcements that I see, such as brightest display, the brightest display on a Galaxy phone. Ooh. That just means this is the best thing we've ever made, and that's obvious. I'm watching it for the new device. So anyway, aside from that, Apple does that all the time, and it really bothers me. Samsung is starting to do that too. It does have a very bright display, though. I'm out running. I run 3 miles a day every morning in the sun, in the heat, all that stuff, and I took this out there. I never had a problem seeing the screen, and I thought it was very impressive the whole time. I'm out on my morning run, first day with the Z Fold 8. Sun is super bright this morning, and I think we're supposed to get thunderstorms later, so we'll see about that. But really liking this aspect ratio so far. We'll see how it does tracking my activity. There are a few really cool things, such as the 50 megapixel camera on the back, not on the inside. We'll talk about that in a second too. So there are a lot of really great specs on this phone. We're going to start positive first. So there's a lot of app integration, right? You can get LumaFusion on there. You can get Lightroom on there. Whenever Adobe ends up releasing Premiere for Android, you'll be able to use that, I assume. So this is a great content creation phone, or just simply putting together your family videos or whatever you like. There's a 50 megapixel camera on the back, but only 10 megapixel selfie camera. So definitely keep that in mind. That's slightly less than the brand new Pixel 11. So do with that what you will. Camera was actually pretty good. It does record up to 8K. I do wish we had that on more phones, but I mean, I make videos and I don't care about 8K, so maybe that's not necessarily important. You could get up to 60 frames per second while shooting in 4K, which I think is what everyone should be shooting in. And all around, it had some really good tools. It was pretty intuitive to swap from the Pixel camera UI to the Samsung camera UI and not get too in depth with all the little details and go pro mode, because that's not really what I was testing for this time. All right, this is video shot on the Galaxy Fold8. It is currently 87 degrees out in Lynchburg, Virginia. We are at the River Ridge Mall, and I figured this would be maybe a cooler place, and better place to film, because it's inside and there's still stuff to see and zoom in on and stuff like that. So I usually go outside, but it's just really hot today, so we'll try here first. Gotta see what's new here. Gotta get ready for spooky season. Almost time. This frame is actually really cool. Flag. So to go along with your photos and videos, it does have an excellent display at 1848 by 2448 with 120 hertz refresh rate. So everything's gonna look great on this phone, and that's kind of what Samsung is known for. Samsung makes great screens. They make iPhone screen as well. So all around, we have just every spec in the book, right? 8K shooting, 4K 60 frames per second, slow motion on everything, super high resolution display at 120 hertz. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy processor. We've got 12 or 16 gigs of RAM, depending on what storage size you go with. So there's a lot here, right? There's pretty much the whole package. All around, I think this is actually a really great purchase, especially considering we can get some deals on this device. You are not going to get top-end camera on the Fold8. Fold8 Ultra I did not check, but Fold8, it's definitely going to be an average camera. I actually posted a few stories and stuff as well, and I had a couple people comment saying like, what phone is that? That is not good. So again, do with that what you will. As you notice in a lot of these clips, I actually have a case on mine. This is not a Pataka case. This is not a Thinborn case. This is a Latercase, which I am thrilled to be able to tell you guys that this video is actually sponsored by Latercase. So I buy a Latercase with almost every single phone I buy. So I was thrilled to hear from Nick over there, because I like the super, super thin form factor that doesn't really ruin the feel of your phone. Because that's my biggest pet peeve, is when I buy a brand new phone and then I immediately put like a $50 case on it, and 50 bucks is a lot, but it still just feels like a piece of plastic, right? I want to feel the phone I just bought. This case lets you do that. It's made with premium aramid fibers, the same materials trusted in aerospace engineering, F1 racing, and military protective gear. So this is an extremely durable yet thin case. It feels better than it looks. There's a soft matte finish that's grippy enough for confidence in your hand, but not grippy enough that it gets stuck in your pocket like some of those silicone cases. I can't stand those. Plus, announcement time, major upgrade for Latercase this year includes MagSafe. It's called MagLock, and it's included in every one of these cases. So go get one right now. There's a link in the description. Protect your phone with Latercase, but still feel its natural form. Thank you, Latercase, for sponsoring. So all in all, what's just the conclusion here? The conclusion is that this is a really, really nice phone. And I like that we're moving beyond the ultra premium, has to have like super everything you possibly could need in a fold, and taking it a step down. There's just one caveat to that, is the price also needs to come down if we're going to do that. So I like that there are kind of like two versions here, and Samsung is kind of the maximalist of the tech world. They've just got like 100 million different options for their phones. So they're a great company to do this. But if we're gonna have fewer cameras, not quite as good quality, not as much zoom, stuff like this on this phone, this needs to be a cheaper phone. You can't just start charging more for the Ultra, which is the same one we've been buying all these years, and then make a new one and then like shift the price up. That's not gonna work. So the last thing I wanna do is just go over, it's just kind of a laundry list of some of the oddness I found in this phone. Most of it was positive, which we've already gone over, but I do wanna just make note of some of the things I've noticed. So I'm not a Samsung user. As I said, I like Google products, but the second lens seemed to have this weird reflection problem, which I'll show right here. I randomly noticed it at like a drive-through, I think. But it was just like, it was one of the lenses was getting this super, super intense sun glare, and the other one just was not. So I don't know. I think that's very strange, and figured I'd point it out. Speak to text. Don't even get me started on speak to text. It was terrible. Like it was worse than Apple, which is saying something. Apple's speak to text is atrocious. This one, like I would say like, oh sure, comma, I'll be there in a minute, period, or whatever my sentence was. And it literally wrote out the word comma, like didn't put a comma in there, didn't translate it. It just wrote the word comma and period in the sentence. So I had to like backspace the whole, like I couldn't deal with it. So I moved to the Google keyboard after about 5 days. Anyway, are you going to get this phone? What do you think about this phone? How do you feel about the smaller form factor? Do you think it's good thing, bad thing? Do we not? I mean, people were complaining about the skinny front screen for years, and now we're complaining about the smaller phone with a wide screen. So I don't know what people want. Let me know what you think. I really enjoyed using this phone, and I really hope that foldables kind of morph into this smaller size actually. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you don't mind. If you become a channel member, you can be part of my Google Photos album, which has over 5,000 photos all taken by Pixel, and you can use it on your smart home devices as wallpapers, which is really cool. And then you get a free sticker pack in the 2 higher tiers. So check it out. If you're interested, let me know, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Shout out Lou. Shout out Willie Doo. I miss you guys. I miss your podcast.